Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're going to talk about the VeChain slash Chinese vaccine program, and I think a lot of you have assumed that the Chinese vaccine program is just going to use VeChain. VeChain, I think, will definitely be involved, but I'm not really sure if they're going to use VeChain for the overall program. It's probably going to be a connection of the various regional programs of vaccines connected to a national program using some kind of organizational system or blockchain of some other. And we have two important dates, one of which just passed and one of which is coming up soon that you need to keep track of. And we're going to talk about the importance and how it's going to expand based on those days. So the national vaccine program is actually going to be a collaborative platform of the regional vaccine programs. And this was actually discussed in this link right here, and it says the provincial level areas were demanded to connect regional vaccine tracking systems with a national collaborative service platform before December 31st, 2019. And that actually passed a few days ago. Now, around the New Year's time, there was a day when VeChain activity, a day or two when VeChain activity kind of spiked above the normal, because during the holidays it was generally pretty quiet, and there was a day it went to like 8-9 million. 1 or 2 days went into 8-9 million, so that could be some data transfer. But just because they connected doesn't mean you'll see any activity in the actual blockchain. When they actually begin to feed the national information, that's on January 31st, 2020. So that'll be in about 3 weeks, or like roughly 3.5 weeks, something like that. So on that day, which is actually within the Chinese New Year holiday, so I'm not really sure how they plan to actually work that out. From that day forward, we might be seeing some activity on the VeChain blockchain as it feeds into the national information. Additionally, the NMPA, which is the Chinese platform, is working to launch a collaborative service platform which will be connected with online systems for immunization programs and those for vaccine data to integrate information of vaccine production, circulation, and inoculation. I don't really know what system they're going to use to integrate all of this, but they actually have some of the regions listed. The system pilot programs include Beijing, Tianjin, Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, Shanghai, Jiangsu, Hainan, and Chongqing. We know that Shanghai is actually using VeChain because Shanghai has said several times they're actually using VeChain and DNVGL. So we know that VeChain is actually involved in one of the regions. We don't really know what the national system is actually going to be using. Some people are sure it's going to be using VeChain. I hope it's going to be using VeChain, but obviously I am not 100% sure. I can only hope. But this is still good news because since Shanghai is involved and we know Shanghai's regional vaccine program is definitely using VeChain, VeChain will actually be part of this project. And there'll be some data feed beginning on January 31st. Now, I would not expect a giant clause of information on January 31st all to appear on VeTho If that happens, awesome, more power to it. But Sunny actually said in AMA a few weeks ago that if VeChain is actually going to be part of this project or a big part of this project, it will be onboarded slowly. Remember, this is only a system pilot program, and it'll take months or years before this really revs up because this is a national vaccine program. It's a very big deal. There's a lot of regulations to go through. The government's going to be very, very careful and going to onboard things very, very slowly onto this. They're not just going to just cross it all over at once because that could be case for disaster. And the CCP definitely does not want disaster because then people would lose faith in the government and you might have some kind of popular revolt, which would be really bad for them. So they're not going to risk that. They're going to onboard things very, very slowly. They're running a pilot, which includes the Shanghai region where VeChain actually operates. So we have some confirmation that VeChain is going to be part of this project, at least one of the major regions that's running the pilot. There's other regions that use there's other blockchain systems in other regions, and I'm not really sure like I said what the collaborative system is going to be using. Maybe it's an integration of everything. We don't really know for sure, but keep an eye out for January 31st and see if there's any activity after Chinese New Year for VeChain, because if there's a significant increase after the 31st, that means they are probably feeding data from the vaccine project from Shanghai into the national system. But even if there's not, that doesn't mean VeChain is not part of it because this is only a pilot test and it'll probably be a while before they really run everything into production. So January 31st, Very, very important. Keep your eye on it, and that might give us more information on the VeChain/Chinese vaccine program. I will actually report as I get more information. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.